What's up, guys? Gerald with Roman Roof Cleaning and Roof Cleaning Products. I've had a lot of questions lately about my equipment, and because I've come out with some new items, and so people are wondering what's the difference and that sort of thing. So I thought I would just go over each one right quick to give you guys an idea of what I've got. So the biggest and baddest thing I've got is the King's Ransom DCMS. This is a remote control. You can turn the bleach on by remote control. And so for a lot of guys that like the gas roof pumps, that's what I built this for. This will flow like a gas roof pump if you have a 5/8 hose, spray hose, or a 3/4 spray hose. With a 3/4, I mean, in my opinion, it's just way too much, but it's made to where you can be on the other side of the house, turn the bleach off, and then rinse. So, you know, that's what it's good for. One thing that's good about an air system, even with that one, I mean, it will spray actually at the gun. I think it's around 17 gallons per minute with a 3/4 hose. So it puts out way more than what anybody would need, in my opinion. But the great thing about it is with an air system, you can actually put a small mist tip on it and just spray a mist. That's what's great about the air systems. You can put small tips, you can put big tips. It doesn't matter what size tip. It doesn't damage anything when you do that. You can also let off the trigger, and it doesn't build any pressure or any of that. It just goes into a stall situation to where it'll last forever sitting that way. It won't hurt anything. So, plus, you know, the air systems are, the guts of them are mainly all plastic. So that's why, you know, people have such success out of any air system, is because the pumps last so long. They're not falling apart like some of the 12 volts and gas pumps and stuff that has problems with manifolds breaking or rust and that sort of thing. So, so there's the King's Ransom. I actually just came out with a new product. You know, I've come out with a Jester. This is the Jester 2.0. The Jester has basically the same setup, but it's just got 2 valves. Because I don't use soap anymore. Well, there's a lot of people that do use soap, so I added another metering valve here. So this way, this one with a 10 gallon per minute pump, it'll actually put out about 8 gallons to the gun. If you use a 3/4 hose, spray hose, you know, all 3/4 hoses, if you lower it down to 5/8 hose, I think it'll get around 6 or 7 gallons per minute to the gun. So it's a major difference with the bigger valves. This is the whole system is 3/4. Same with this one, the whole system is 3/4. So it's a major difference. You know, the typical Roof King, it usually puts out around 4 or 5 gallons per minute to the gun. You know, most systems don't put out what they're rated simply because of the size of the fittings and the plumbing, and then going through the hose reel and going through the hoses. You know, there's a lot of twists and turns and stuff that lowers the gallons per minute. If you put a 3/4 hose into one of these pumps, and then you put a 3/4 hose right out, come in from a bucket and then right back out, you know, they'll put what they're rated typically. Not always on point, but pretty much. But that's the great thing about using the bigger valves and all. It makes a major difference. So, I mean, obviously, by using this system, it'll put out double what the typical Roof King 12 will, just by having the bigger valves and the bigger spray hose. So, with all that being said, obviously we have the Roof King 12. We've got the one with the white knobs. That's a little cheaper version. We have the one with the orange knobs, which are the GF valves, which are a little bit better valves, a little more expensive. You know, as long as these are mounted like I have them here, and mounted on a compressor or somewhere solid, they usually last a long time. But obviously the orange valves are a better unit. You know, obviously they should be, because they cost like an extra $100 a piece. So it's just according to what you're looking for. If you're getting started and you don't know for sure you're going to stay in this business, you know, obviously I recommend maybe spending less money. If you know you're going to do it forever, you might be better off getting the more expensive valves, and if you just want to spend the extra money to have the durability. And then I've also got the Sidewinder. So the thing is, these are all of the Roof King 12s, they are 1/2 inch. All the plumbing is 1/2 inch. So it cuts down on the flow a lot. So what I designed was, and I've got a video on this, but I've designed a thing called a sidewinder. So you can take this plumbing off right here and do away with using this blend manifold. And you can just pop this one on there, and you can swivel it to whatever angle that you want. And then that way you have 3/4. So if you have an old if you have an old Roof King 12, or if you have a King Slinger that's 10 gallons per minute, or you have any of these air systems, there's a lot of guys that's copied them. So there's a lot of different brands and styles out there. But any of these 10 gallon per minute systems, if you pop one of my sidewinders on there, then you will immediately double the flow if you change all your hoses to 3/4, and then you change your spray hose to either 5/8 or 3/4. So that's a handy thing. If you already have this stuff, no sense spending the money again, because this is less than half the price of the system itself. So anyway, so I've rambled on long enough. There's my systems. That's what I sell. I do have the Jester, the regular Jester that I don't have here, but it's basically the exact same system, just missing one valve. But it's on my website if you guys are interested, so you can check that out. But again, if you guys have any questions or anything about my system, make sure to let me know. As most people know, air is the most durable system out there. There's a lot of systems. There's 12 volt, there's booster pumps, there's engine driven or gas roof pumps, what some people call them. There's air. I have used them all, and people tell me all the time the reason I push air is because that's what I sell. Well, I could sell any system. I mean, I can sell any system, but I don't sell any system because I don't want to have complaints and problems. So what I do is I sell what I'm comfortable with and what I know will work and not cause you any problems. There's nothing worse than you guys being on a job, something breaking, and then you're calling me while I'm on a job and you're freaking out and you're needing your system to work. Well, obviously I have to drop everything and help you, which I don't mind doing that if it happens, but if I have a system that's not dependable, then I'm doing that a lot. And I've got a business to run as well, so it's hard for me to do that. But at any rate, I don't want anybody broke down with their system. Not to say that I've never had problems with mine. I have had some pumps that have given me some trouble lately, and I've been working with FlowJet trying to find out. They still work, they've just had some issues with the top cracking. But what we have found out is, these systems are made to run at 100 PSI on your air compressor. So if you run anything more than that, it can crack the top of these pumps. So do not use over 100 pounds of pressure. If you do, just be prepared that could happen. So, but other than that, they're pretty problem free. I mean, they're one of the simplest systems that are out there. And like I said, air, because they're all plastic and rubber on the inside, they just last. There's no manifolds to break besides this top cap if you put too much pressure. But you can let off the trigger. With like engine driven, if you let off the trigger very long, the pump overheats, and that's what causes one of the reasons that they crack. With boosters, they have the same thing. They have a flow switch you can use that will, when it builds pressure, it will turn off. But basically, they're just a water well pump that people are using. Just like every pump, there's not a pump made for this. Everybody uses other pumps that they design and try to make work for this field. Those things put out a tremendous amount of flow and pressure, but the problem is, if the flow switches always mess up, and before you know it, it's done blowed a hose on your truck, and it's blowing bleach all over your truck and your equipment in the customer's yard. They also have a remote, just like this one, but I'm scared to death of this kind of stuff, because what if you're on the other side of the house, you push the button and it doesn't work, and now you're spraying bleach all over the customer's plants. And I've heard of people doing that. So that's something to be really careful with, because it can happen. And then there's, of course, the engine driven. Those, as everybody knows, those have lots of problems with manifolds cracking and leaking everywhere. I've replaced a lot of those for guys with these because they've ruined their trailers. A good buddy of mine, he spent $7,000 or $8,000 on a trailer. 2 years later, it was just rusted to pieces because of that that engine-driven pump leaking. And then, of course, you got the 12 volts, which everybody knows they don't last that long. They're stainless, and they're made out of a cheap stainless, so they're constantly going bad. Either that or running under low battery voltage, or just lots of problems with those. So there's lots of systems out there, but air by far is the most durable. You just crank the compressor and rock and roll. I mean, I do it every day, and I've just had tremendous luck. But Like I said, if you guys have any questions or any concerns at all, make sure to let me know. All of these systems are on my website, and they all have videos, and they all have the gallons per minute that they flow at the gun with which size hose. Because sometimes I get those confused. So because I've got a small memory and I've got a few systems now. So make sure to look on there, look them up online, read all about them. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you guys for watching. Any questions, let me know.